duration. That is called a session drop-off rate or something. That is more of an input metric. But out of those 37 students, I'm just thinking of this as a marketing session, not as an academic session. I'm just giving an example, but this is
Mhm.
becoming more of an academic session as you see. You're not
Yeah.
doing any upsell activity or something. So if you think this would have been a pure marketing session, out of those 37 folks who attended the session, and the session drop off length was, let's say, 90%. When I say 90%, out of 37, 90% of it, let's say 3.7, you remove 3.7, it's around 33 folks stayed for the 1 hour duration, or stayed. You will typically take a session drop off rent for half time of the session, like for 30 minutes. 90% of the students stayed, or industry average in edtech is around 45%. Or 45% students stay for a 30 minutes duration in a 1 hour session. If they are staying, let's say 18 folks are staying for a 30 minutes duration, the output metric will be lead contribution, lead to revenue generation. Okay, so these 37 folks would be leads. How many are actually enrolling into a course? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that is more like, let's say even 10% enrolls into the course. It's like a 3 out of or 4 out of 40 out of something like that. That's a 10% revenue direct contribution to that. So this is like a session. So this is how the entire story is being built, or the entire pipeline of metrics is being built. But this orientation you will have to practice again and again for different features, different products, and then you will get it. Okay, and then you will understand, okay, the optimization, how do you optimize the input metric, how do you optimize the revenue metric, and all those aspects. So this is absolutely doable. You are in a very good position is my last line on the question.
So
Okay.
I believe in one word, if I have to call it, it's basically focusing on the North Star metric, which was earlier taught to me. That's what the focus of the
North
PI,
star is
PM should
always the output. Okay, what is the
be.
input of it? So there are two aspects of it. You will learn in the due course in the curriculum. Everything will
Okay.
be clearly taught. Okay.
Sure, sure, sure.
Now, second is using AI tools for PMing now, and feasibility of it. It's the best time, right? It's the best time of the world. We never had a Lovable or a Replit or something on those lines earlier. Whenever, for example, let's think of a normal world. This subscribe and save feature, let's take it again. Okay. In a normal world, whenever such an idea would have come to so typically Amazon has this concept of PR FAQs. I think faculties would have taught, or you can just Google it. What is a PR FAQ? What is a PR FAQ in Amazon? Okay, it's a document where, if at all you have an idea that this will have a strong impact on the organizational level goals, then rather
Mm-hmm.
than building the feature first, you write a 5 pager document, thinking highly customer backwards, or you will work backwards. You will think as a Vatsalya, as a Srinath, that if the feature is launched after 6 months, and you were that CEO who was doing a press release of the subscribe and save button, which is across different categories, you will write a press release, like a half pager press release. And in the press release, what happens? The press people ask you multiple questions, right? You see those press releases of a Salman Khan, Shahrukh Khan, or something. After you say your fundamental thing that this movie, Sultan movie, is getting released on so and so date, and this is the story or whatever, they will ask you 20 questions. So you will think, what could be that possible 20 questions that a vice president business, vice president product, vice president marketing, or anyone from the org would have around it, vice president or vice president technology would have around it, and you will start replying to those questions in a data orientation point of view. What was the biggest problem? Like, this was a very good document, or it's a gold standard in product management that is done in Amazon, which Amazon initiated, and other orgs typically try to follow. Now, but at a fundamental level, if you as a PM, you write this document, you try to get approval, and then you start working on a very greenfield initiative. But let's say that button, to design that button, on the PDP, you will need to take the help of designers. To build
Mm-hmm.
that interaction, you will need to take the help of designers or UX designers. And to get a buy-in from senior leadership, it is also very difficult if you don't show them the experience. Ki, sir, this is how the experience exactly looks like on the Amazon page. But
Mm-hmm.
because of no code tools or vibe coding tools like Replit, or let's say I got an invite from a company called Alloy, or let's say FIGR, I again got an invite from a vibe coding tool called FIGR Figure, and then Emergent has also come up. You can actually build that page, the PDP page, with the button. You can show that if you click on this button and you land onto the cart page, all the three packets of diapers are getting added, or how is the total cart page orientation looks like, how does this page orientation looks like. You can create an entire experience layer. Don't think about you are helping in the coding layer, that what the
Mhm.
developers will code at a scale of millions of user using Amazon in India or globally. Don't think that you are contributing at that level. There are developers or engineers taking that headache. They are using their AI tools to build generate their codes. But as a product manager, what value can you add? Like by leveraging AI, is you can
Mhm.
have the entire workflow ready on a no code or a sort of a AI vibe coding tool and build that entire flow. And for that, the when you build that experience, how close you are emulating or imitating Amazon's existing flow and placing that button and look alike is depending on your prompt engineering skills. So
Correct.
that's where something like a course like this comes into picture and will tell you what are the different vibe coding tools, which are very good in terms of like a lot of vibe coding tools. Even if you tell them 100 things, this is our page, I want this button over here or something, they will not try to replicate that. And there are some tools that are doing it beautifully. So which tools you can use in which scenario, which tools would be better in what use cases. Some tools are so creative, vibe coding tools, even if you give very low quality prompts, they're able to understand it. For example, I found Emergent to be very good in that. So how do you use that? In the case you really have a very strong idea. Let's say I have a very big problem around gardeners. I have a home, I have a small garden in my flat and all. In Bangalore, I feel that there should be some very small wannabe marketplace where I can have 20, 30 gardeners numbers, and I can put a small website where people can actually go. It's like a booking website. They can just say 6:30 p.m. Monday or Tuesday, I want to have a gardener in my place for 1 hour. And I
Mhm.
will I will say that 1 hour service cost is this much or whatever. And I can connect people who want gardeners, and then a bunch of gardeners I'll have as an inventory with me, and I'll have the time slots, and I'll put that website in my society community in my gate or something. So
Mhm.
for such a small level idea to validate it, now you don't need any developer. You can build a full-fledged vibe coded app with the front end, with the back end tables, with API calls, or even with payments. Like in the session, I'm pretty sure there would be sessions where you would be given vibe coding class end to end experience where you can even integrate payments and you can collect payments on it. And this entire flow can be built, which is
So you're
literally,
saying, deployment is also something that can be done by the PM and then
yeah.
later given it to, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm talking about different complexity of a full-fledged app. If you build a full-fledged app, there will be a lot of APIs you cannot like if you at all you are building on a no-code experience, because no coding was there,
Yeah.
right? There are platforms which are building no-coding websites. You can essentially build a landing page or a website. But now when you talk about applications, there are so many use cases. There is a form, there is a payment, there is an inventory management thing. Everything could be built end to end on a vibe coding platform.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So that is where your second question gets answered, and feasibility is absolutely feasible. And now the full you can say the entire all degrees of freedom, all degrees that is there in an application which is required to validate a small idea could be built on this.
Yeah, because earlier as a BA, what we used to do is that we used to go to Balsamic, pull out some drag and drop
Yeah.
attributes, and then give a a
Yeah.
flow, a workflow, and everything. So these all things got bypassed, and if used correctly, probably this
Exactly.
could add
But
these skills to the PM.
yeah, so that is still there. If you see my Miro board, I still do a lot of wireframing. But after
Okay.
wireframing, if you want to see, this is one some platform, some onboarding setup. I take care of conversations, right? Which when Guru introduced me. So this is like one singular inbox of a CRM, which has
Mhm.
all the channels connected. But presently, we don't have a channel connection setup page where a user can come and see that these are the different channels there. This is the status. This channel is connected. This is not connected. This is connected. So I was just trying to design it. So I was designing it on a wireframing tool. At some places, so you will have to, you see, knowing there is this saying, right? Knowing tomato is a fruit is knowledge, but not putting it in a fruit salad is wisdom. So as PMs, you need to have that wisdom. Okay, so when to use what will make your life easy, what will complete the work in half an hour and not take it to 2 to 3 hours. That is where you guys have to for that to know, you will have to taste tomato once. Then you will realize that it will not taste good in a fruit salad, right?
Right.
So you will have to know. Okay, you will have to use all the tools. You have to build a lot of apps, vibe coded apps. Then you realize, okay, for this tool this is doing good, this is doing bad. You will have to read a lot of documents. You will stay updated. You have to stay updated with, because if at all some tool has some drawbacks, it's not like we only know the drawback. The PM
Mhm.
of that company, the founder of the company, they also know they have a drawback. So they will also be working on it. So if they have a major release announcement coming in, you will have to release, understand, okay, this release announcement has fixed this bug. So you'll have to stay very updated. In the process, you become that top 1x PM or in the industry. Because
Right.
in a way, you are putting in so much effort. No, it'll become a rigorous process, because since you guys have put in effort to come at 11 a.m., I have also put in effort to come at 11 a.m., because
Correct.
it's a very learning process for like a mutually symbiotic process from both the ends. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That's it, sir. Appreciate it.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Next question, please.
Hey, hi, this is Samita here. I just want to give a background. So I'm a Scrum Master working in the IT professional. So my query is like, I understand that Scrum Mastering is in the execution phase of the product management, and product manager is like a one step ahead. So how, like one step above. So how difficult it would be to be transitioning from a Scrum Master to a product manager role? Because as you were mentioning, the metrics and all like that can be handled, but how it will be a difficult to transitioning from that role? And second, is this role a individual contribution role, or it is like a you'll again have to manage a team? Because as a scrum master you have a bird's eye view from the top, like okay, this is what the developers are doing, this is what the BAs are doing, what testers are doing. So I just wanted to know the like as a product manager or what all is expected.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, Samita, I'll break down your question into three sub questions.
Mm-hmm.
One is you are a Scrum Master IT, that's your background, and you're transitioning, trying to transition from a Scrum Master role to a PMing sort of a role.
Right.
Then is whether a PM role, is it an IC role, individual contributor role, or a team role, and then day of a PM. That somehow in the undertone of your question, I could get that.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I wrote a spelling. Sorry. Okay. Can you guys give me just a 1 minute break? I'm just coming from the washroom. Okay. Give me a second.
Sure.
Are able to hear. This is Vijay. Was trying to speak. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Vijay, I mean, Saurav has gone on mute. I mean, he'll be back soon. Okay, he just mentioned that.
No, no,
Uh,
unable to hear you, Manas. I was to make sure my
uh,
Your
mic is
voice
uh,
is
on.
yeah,
low.
yeah.
Your voice is low. We
Voice
can
is a
hear.
bit low, but we can hear it's a bit low, right?
Oh, okay. Maybe I need to increase volume or something. Okay. Is it better?
Yeah, a bit better. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry guys, so I'm in a weight loss program actually. And like they have recommended me to drink 2 liters of water after waking up. I've drink it, drunk it, and all of a sudden, you don't know, things are getting tight out of okay. Let's get back. So, Samita, your question is like, see, again, I'll take it in that direction. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so, so let's think of that entire life cycle which you yourself told. First is ideation, second is execution,
Mm-hmm.
third is optimization. This is would be, I can say, this is a generic thought process for all the participants across this session. This I would say, it might sound very if you think this is a very sort of a very broad generalization of product management role. Okay, very. So when I say ideation, let's again, I expect you were like very alert in my first examples also with the with Vatsalya's question. So let's take that example of subscribe and save button, which is introduced for us. For an end user, it's like a small button, but it from a Amazon's perspective or from an e-commerce platform perspective, it has strong revenue impact, and millions of dollars of revenue is impacted because of introduction of such a feature. So someone who did an ideation of or identified the problem statement. So ideation again will have two categories, like identify the problem statement identification. One second. Problem statement identification plus solutioning. Okay, the solutioning part of it, or identifying the solution to that problem statement. But that identifying that solution is on the pen and paper, or just on the UX flow, or on a vibe coded app. Okay, so that is one part of it. As a PM, you are paid to understand recurring and incremental customer problems. Recurring means the existing, which are there always going on and on and on in that specific industry, and incremental, if you build a feature, they started using it, but in the pursuit of using it, they will have another problem, and that is life. So if you guys are there, that is life. When you are on rent, like I'll tell you my example. When I was on rent, I was thinking, okay, I will buy a flat. It will be so good. I will have my own flat. When you buy a flat, then there are always other problems, how to keep it clean, how to maintain it, and all those things. Now, when you start maintaining it, you will have a lot of cost associated with it. Then you will find, okay, I have to make another income source or something on those lines. So it's like you do something, something comes on top of it. That is life, not just in PMing. It must be there in Scrum management, your profile, someone who is in a QA, who is a dev or running a business. This thing will come on and on. So ideation is this flow where there is a problem statement identification, which is recurring and incremental, and solutioning part of it. Then there is execution, where as a PM you write a PRD. Where PRFAQ is that document which is very Amazon specific and all, not necessarily all companies have it. But when you eventually have a solutioning of it, you draft the solution in a piece called PRD, which is a very
Mhm.
key term for product managers. Every one of you should know it by heart, which is called a product requirement document. If you want, I can just write it down. Product requirement document. So you draft this document. Once this document has all the details, there are like gold standards of PRD, what it should have, like an introduction section, the user, like what is the problem statement, what is the rationale of building it, what is the impact of the problem statement, how many users are getting impacted because of it, and then you write the idea and the user stories exist
We lost you, Saurabh.
Yeah, I think there is
around
a
there.
lag.
Saurabh, we lost.
Wait for some time.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it seems internet is unstable.
Saurabh,
Give me a
we
second.
missed a second.
Yeah, give me a second. Internet unstable. I'll just yeah, rectifying it.
yeah. Now we can hear.
Hello, is it better now?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Now we can
Saurabh.
hear.
Yeah, is someone from Eduinx team confirm that?
Yes, sir. Can
Yeah.
hear you.
So you need to build whatever is that solutioning of that thing. You will write in a product requirement document, which is like a bread and butter of a PM, right? If you are becoming a PM, it is a bread and butter. Then comes Samita, your part. Like you have to give those requirements, have a PRD kickoff session or a PRD
Mhm.
walkthrough session. Typically in a like in I think in IT you call it FSD, right? Functional specification document, FSD, if I'm incorrect.
It's actually
Right.
BRD if
It's
BRD
called
or
business
user
requirement
story.
document or but user stories is like part of it. The bigger document is called a BRD or an FSD, typically, if you see.
Epic, yeah.
Yeah. So no, bunch of user stories in an epic, and bunch of those
Right.
epics and other aspects of it, the technical design diagram, everything that is a FSD or a BRD. Different
BRD.
organizations interchangeably use it, and then once you give it, then usually what will happen is the developer will understand each of the user stories. They will create a Jira of it and all those things, and I will allocate users to like what is the story pointers around it, right? Like this user story is of this point, this point. They'll have that Fibonacci series concept. Everything comes into picture. Those, I think you are master of these things. I don't need to tell you. But then there is this
Mhm.
story point is to man hours mapping and all those things, which is again org specific, project specific, that will happen. And then they will eventually develop it in a 6 months period or whatever. And you as a scrum master, I believe, on a day on day basis would be tracking it. Okay, what happened to user story one? It was given to Mr. X. What is the development? Any dependencies? Any blocker? Is the development going good? You told that it will be developed in 5 days. We are on the third day. Is almost 60% development done? These are typically the kind of interactions you will have. If they say no, I have a dependency on this particular module, you will try to get in touch with that module, connect him with that guy, and give him the clarity and all. So that part is also a part of PMing. Okay, so you that ideation part is there, which you don't typically do it in your day in and day out of your job. You are
Mhm.
100% doing the execution part of it for sure. I'll put it on green. Then there is an optimization part which I explained to Vatsalya, right? Where I told after the launch also, I don't think Scrum Master has any role to play after the role. Even if a BA is always curious, they tend to think if people are using it or not using it, what happened to the since you have been so closely associated with the team, you'll think of it. But I don't think Scrum Master typically thinks anything about it because at some point of time in my earlier prior to Deloitte, I was there also. So we literally didn't give like an F around it. What happened to the feature or something. It was more about project management typically. And then this is the optimization part which I told him. I'll not repeat it. The same example of how the feature at launch, what is the adoption in 3 months. If that adoption is there, is it contributing to revenue or not, and all those aspects are there. So since you at least, I will say the way I explained it to Vatsali, you are in a very good position. If there are 100 folks trying to who are aspiring for a product role, you're in a very good position since you know a part of the role. Because you see the industry now, they don't want generalized. I won't say like this because a bunch of students would be from that bucket. It's very much on your effort and kind of input and how active you're on LinkedIn and trying to hunt for a job. It depends on that. But having said that, from a day one perspective of preparation with hundreds of folks who are into different courses and doing something, if you do it seriously for 3 to 4 months, that's absolutely on you. How you are taking it up and doing it, understanding the modules, doing product tear downs, posting it on LinkedIn, how active you are, and all those things, trying to understand, explore new apps on a day on day basis. That will help you to be strong on this ideation part and optimization part. But definitely you are 2 notches ahead, but in a 100 meters rate you already have a head start of 20 meters, I will say, because of you knowing very well the execution part of it. Because eventually the experience matters, right? How do you talk to a 7 years old, 7 years experienced engineer, or a 15 years experienced technical architect? You know that thing which a fresher
Mhm.
or someone does not know, that management part of it. We know the kind of like interpersonal relationships or different org level. I wouldn't say politics is a low word, but org level policies and things and everything work. We know that exactly, being in the industry for some time. So that is something you will have an added advantage for sure. Apart from that, you will have to prepare for interviews and typical product questions. What are those? You have to be very much aware about it and prepare for it in a detailed way. Okay, that is it. Now, IC role versus team role. It's a very team specific role. It's not at all an IC role, I would say. Even for the ideation thing, it's see, there can be two set of companies over here. One is an ops heavy company, one is a pure SaaS company, zero involvement of ops. Hello?
Mhm. Yeah.
So when I say ops heavy company or pure SaaS, I'll give you two examples. Let's say an Amazon or a Flipkart. Which category do you feel it falls into? Or an Ola, Uber, or whatever. Ola, Uber, Amazon, Flipkart. Yes, Amita, go
I
ahead.
feel it's a ops heavy company.
Ops,
Exactly.
yeah, ops one.
Exactly. Because eventually, what an Amazon is promising is we will give you the widest selection of products. So when you are searching for a blue t-shirt or a blue jeans or whatever, they need to have the widest. For having the widest selection of products is a one-line jargon from a Jeff Bezos or an Amit Agarwal, Senior Vice President India. But to have that, you need to have thousands and thousands of sellers getting onboarded onto the platform. For managing the SKUs of thousands and thousands of sellers, which is in lakhs and lakhs, we will need to have the warehouses in place. Amazon's promise of the widest selection of products and then the quickest delivery within a sub 1 day delivery or 3 days delivery or whatever, to get that thing in the warehouse and deliver to you in some part of the country, they need to have the supply chain in place. So it's a ops heavy company, or a product is over there to manage the demand and supply. Okay, that's about it. So now, if you are as a PM are working over there, you will always see category managers, business managers also there, who with whom you discuss day in and day out and understand the problem statement better and write PRDs or whatnot to build those capabilities. Okay, but you will always have a business counterpart, so like an engineering counterpart who's called an EM, engineering manager, PM EM duo. There will always be a business manager who might be a category manager or an ops. So it depends, right? You will see a PM operations or PM supply chain. That means he is also working with someone who is purely a supply chain guy who has a warehouse understanding and everything to build products around there. So you will see a PM marketplace who is in the intersection of demand and supply. So there is someone who is from the category team building something over there and guiding him. If you see the subscribe and save button, which was typically introduced on a baby care product or a personal care. So there are definitely category managers who are managing brands in personal care and baby care section. They are giving instructions to this guy that, see, this is typically what happens in the industry. Typically, I'm just giving not it's not a gender neutral example, but that is what it happens. I see my wife doing it. Like, she will buy some not cosmetics or a night cream or something. After 3 months she will reorder. After 3 months she will reorder the same thing, or maybe in a 1 month's duration she will reorder in a specific frequency. So these are all industry insights these guys will capture and give it to the PM. Can you solution it? This is a problem statement. If we do it, then we'll have some revenue, additional revenue. Can you problem solve it? Then this guy comes up with this thing. So ops heavy company has a business counterpart also there. But that is something I've also experienced in Ola when I was building the test ride module, which Guru while introduction told me. I was told by the sales team that we need at that point of time. Ola Electric did not have any this experience centers or anything. It was just on like digital platform. It was there just on the website and all those things. And the Ola Cabs app, there was a lot of like push notifications and all those things and discovery elements. But it did not have any experience center where people could go and experience it. So they told me that see, this is what it is. We are essentially booking a few malls randomly basis demand. What we know, you know that, right? In Bangalore, which malls are popular malls? We are putting some canopy, giving test rides, but we're not able to understand the demand or whatever. What everything is manual on pen and paper and everything. Can we build a product solve so that test rides could be automated and people across wherever cities we are present, let's say Bangalore, Bhubaneswar, or Calcutta, they can book a test ride and guide the scooter comes to their place. They take a test ride and then they are happily experience the scooter and the financing terms or whatever. So I solutioned it and built the entire test ride module, which is a major lead gen driver at that point of time. So I was with a with a team, with a business team who essentially told me the problem statement, and I worked on it for almost 1.5 years to build the phase one to optimize it to the next level. To that eventually that feature like test ride was eventually working on almost 40 plus cities at some point of time, and we're talking about some 10,000 odd leads and all at some point of time. But that is one aspect of it. Uh,
Mhm.
it's a team role. Second aspect of it is, if at all you're in a SaaS company, the kind of company where I'm working now, let's say a Salesforce, or let's say a Freshdesk, let's say this Zoho, or let's say the high
Mhm.
level, the company where I'm working now, it does not have any ops. It's a pure SaaS company, software as a service. We are selling softwares. Okay. We are selling a CRM in the first place. So if at all we are selling a CRM, there is no man, machine, or land involved. We are building a tool, which is like, for example, the person who has built this Google Docs, there would be, it's not like it's out in the thin air, right? Minimum 20
Mhm.
PMs would be working on Google Docs across the features and whatnot. And for each PM, let's say 7 engineers of Google. So there will be 140 engineers, 20 PMs at least working on Google Docs as a capability. Minimum, bare minimum, I'm saying. I'm just making it up. So a team of 160 folks would be working plus QA, DevOps, and all those things that is on top of it. Just to have this on a KTLO mode or maintenance mode, because they're not very new features, but on the fundamentally that would be required to have this much capability. So now for this guy, there is no business team. He might be guided by a senior PM or a CPO or someone from the Google Workspace team, but there would be no business team saying that I want this capability, that capability. He has to fundamentally understand the user uses pattern, the data of it, what are they using, what are they not using. He will have to do competitor research on other products, other documentation products like Notion was nowhere. It came in 5 to 6 years. It is now a very successful product in building these documents and all. So what is a Notion doing? Miro has now a documentation tool, like you can document things on Miro now. So what is Miro
Mhm.
doing? They have opened up a document. Are there new features or more intuitive capabilities that are being built over there? He will do competitor research. He will they will have bunch of data. Millions and millions of users are using Google Doc. What are they doing it rightly? What are they not doing it rightly? What are the rage clicks? What are the dead clicks? Something I wanted to click, but that didn't intend into that action. What are the dead clicks? I tried to click, but no CT, the CTA didn't result into something which I aspired it to be done. So what are those? What is positive, what is negative? For example, the Gemini experience. If you see the Gemini experience on Gmail, do you have a agentic experience on the right, but at the composer level you have another AI experience.
Assistant.
Yeah. So if you want to reply to an email, if you ask Gemini, it will give you an email X. This will give you email Y, and this is a live bug. I can show you right now on Gmail. So such things do happen. So team role versus IC role is a I would say is a subjective thing to the company where you are joining or whatever. But mota it's a team role, because whatever you say, the business counterpart would be there, would not be there, but there would be someone to guide you across. That might be the CPO or associate director of product or someone to whom you are reporting to. And then the team role again, definitely beyond that guidance part, like there would be always two sorts of reporting, right? Upward management and contemporary management, or it's not saying downward management. I'm saying upward management and contemporary management, people who are parallel to you, because you will always be working with an engineering team, QA team, DevOps team, design team. So definitely it's a team role, you can say. Okay.
Mhm.
So the business counterpart side might be there, might not be there, depending on an ops company or a SaaS company. But the engineering part of it will always be there. That is like bread and butter. That is indispensable. You cannot be a PM and say that no, no, I'll do it completely on my own. Uh, I'll just quickly take the third question. So see, these questions are not specific to Samita. IC role versus team role, or this point which I told. I'm trying to put in consider her question and then building an entire flow around it so that everyone can make something out of it. Now, day of a PM. So I might be slightly fast because we have hardly 1 hour. So if at all the pace is an impact, just do message. Okay.
Hi,
Saurabh, good morning.
hi,
Saurabh, good morning.
Saurabh.
Can I go on? Manas this side.
Yeah, yeah, just
Hello.
cite the question, Manas. I'll take it up. I'll just complete the third part because this is, I think, this adds
Oh,
value for
sorry,
everyone.
sorry. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. No
day of
issues.
a PM it adds value for everyone. So,
Right, right.
how does a typical day look like? So, see, I'll say PM's a day is like a sinusoidal wave. You see, I've seen the sine wave curve, right? I'll just quickly put it for you. What is a sine wave curve? We might have studied in a 10th, 11th class. So this is a better one. So on some days, there would be like, this is, if at all, this y-axis is work negative to work positive or extreme work to lowest work. On some days, it is like extreme work. Some days it is like on the lowest side. Some days it is on the normal side, somewhere over here, somewhere it is like over here. So what are those stages? I'll just quickly tell you. So it depends on a quarterly cycle. So typically PMs work in a quarter to quarter on quarter cycle. We present roadmaps on a quarter. Typically in most of the orgs I have worked, there is a quarterly roadmap session where it might have different nomenclatures across org. They will call it QBR, quarterly business reporting. Someone will call it quarterly roadmap planning. Someone will have AOP, annual operating plan, which is at an annual level. Someone will just say roadmap meeting Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Different orgs will have different nomenclatures around it, but one quarterly meeting where if at all it's an ops heavy company, the business team will also be there. If it's a SaaS heavy company, product heavy company, then it will be just the CPO and the head of engineering, head of QA, head of DevOps. All those folks would be there along with the other PMs, where it would be saying this is the roadmap what I'm trying to achieve, or this is the features where I'm trying to build. Along with these, this is the rationale of why are we picking up these features. This is the impact these features will have. So typically that is done prior to the quarter. SNE ki we are in, let's say in so in an Indian financial year, this is Q4, but I am working in a US company, so we are already in Q1 of 2026. You got this point, right? Say yes or no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm in 2026 Q1 already, but for Indian perspective, this is Q4 of 2025. So in Q1 of 2021, no 2026, what all are the rational? What are the different org level goals, or like what are the pressing customer pain points? Basis that we will identify the different features, the rationales around it, support it with data, support it with matrices, and then what is the feature we are building around it, and what is that it is going to solve. That is what we will try to do. So once this is typically done 1 month before the quarter starts, somewhere around November or in the month of December, typically around November mid to November 25th around. By that time, this will be wrapped, and we will have our quarterly roadmap ready for the next quarter. Let's say for JFM, forget about 26 or 25. It's like the JFM quarter. We'll have it finalized in somewhere around like November end or something. We'll have it finalized, and the features will be logged. So the period in December to mid of January, because engineering has to eventually deliver it and QA and deliver it to the customers by the end of March. So that period of entire month of December to, so I will have to do a PRD kickoff, right? The PRD document which I have written, I'll have to kick it off to the engineering team, or a walkthrough, kick it off. If at all that sounds like a slang, but you have to walk it to the engineering team so that they can start coding on top of it. So this 1 month would be highly hectic for me because whatever I have committed, I know the problem statement. I told we'll build a feature. I might have done some research, but to granularly write those requirements requires a lot of effort, researching and all those things. What are the corner cases around it? You might think that this is the only way it works, but there can be 20 other corner cases around it. So if you first time, if the share would have been built, just give the link. That is a simple share. But then you realize, no, it can be a personal document. You want to just share with 3 folks, not with everyone. These things are not there earlier. Like it could be restricted, high level, or anyone with the link. All those fancy things comes later on, gradually it will come up. So those all corner cases and all you will draft. So till December to January mid, it will be a highly hectic time for me because day in and day out, I'm just researching, putting a lot of effort on my brain. Once January comes, and I kick off those documents, handle all the corner cases and everything. Then I think from January to mid of February or February end, it will be an easy portion to me where I'll be on the daily stand-ups. I'll be more like a Scrum Master role because that is when the execution starts for 1.5 months or something. I'm on the because if the documentation is very good, all the corner cases are covered. There will be few questions. It's not like there won't be any questions. I'll be completely sleeping. No, I'd be there. I'd be clarifying a few questions or whatever is there, or some important questions are there. I'll be scheduling calls or whatever, and I'll be doing that. And then at the end of February, what will happen is I will those all features will come for PAT or product acceptance testing. So I'll have to test it very rigorously so that whatever we are thinking is actually going in that direction. There are no deviations in the product quality and all. We'll test it and eventually launch it for the customers. Will have to write a lot of documentation around it, the release notes internally. For users, will have to write the help documents or whatever, and then we release it. Like, to show you an example, like TikTok integration recently went live. TikTok integration on so integrate TikTok messaging. This is a help doc where we have to give screenshots and all those things and write a document in detail for the customer. So because the customer doesn't know how to use TikTok on high level, this is how the entire flow is. This is what has been built. Because basis this document, people will start using it. This is a public facing document. We have to write an internal release note also. What is the benefit? What is the impact? And all those things on top of it. Once that is done, then the quarter eventually ends. But you should think the next quarter starts. So parallelly, the work for the next quarter, the ideation phase of it, that is already started in somewhere around February. So that is how quarter on quarter the things are building. So I think you have an idea now of a day of a PM, right? Like certain periods, it will be very heavy where you are documenting the PRDs and all those things. And then this 1 month time will be there will be slightly lower on the heavier side because you're just clarifying questions. But parallelly, you are also working on preparing for the roadmap for the next quarter. And then the testing part of it, release part of it happens, and then you get into this. And then there will be bunch of then there is a bunch of ad hocs. There will be support tickets around the product you're working. There will be a lot of RCAs involved where yeah, feature is specifically, this not like things are very smooth. Feature you have built is not going in a direction which you have recommended or you have thought through that this should go in that direction. Then you will do a lot of RCAs around it. Product leaders would be very much interested in understanding why is it not working, what is going wrong. And you will have to present a lot of be data heavy, present them presentations with a lot of data centric points, and then clarify it to them. So that's how the day of a PM looks like, Samita.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Saurabh, can I come in with my question?
Yeah, sure, Manas.
Manas. Yeah. Good morning, first of all, and really, been a very helpful session till this point of time.
Yeah.
And Saurabh, I have got one query. Like, I'm a banker. I mean, for the last 19 years, I'm into retail banking. So totally into in the non-tech sector. And the thing, the reason why I got interested in product management is because we are using a lot of product, in more particularly fintech products, day in and day out. So I just wanted to know, like, how these things are worked upon, how these are built, how the total process goes on, apart from being only an end user.
Yeah.
And apart from that, this is a very promising field. So career wise also, it's more it's a better prospect. Having said that, I just have one question. Like, when I am placing myself in the job market along with the other competitors, I feel that I do not have a practical experience. Like, because I'm into, it's a pure retail banking. I mean, nothing of tech sort. So I feel that that's a gap that I'm carrying with me. So my question is that what additional things, or what I need to do so that I can. I know, I mean, experience can never be compensated, but so that I am on a level playing field with the people who are already having experience in product management or something related with product management. Let's say as business analyst or scrum master. So they are at least somewhat aligned to this. So what I need to do or upskill myself so that I am at a level playing field. So
Yeah.
that's my first question. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. So I'll take this. If I taken a note of it, you're like you want to learn fintech products and consider this as an option, assuming you're in ICICI or an SDFC or a Bandhan Bank or something on those lines.
Exactly.
In and I think first of all, the internal I have a lot of friends in like ICICI Bank and all in product also. So I think internally they allow switches and also that's a good thing. And considering your experience, you would be at a chief manager or even at a senior like grade in that organization. Okay, so I will take this question feel gap in product experience, how to come to a level playing field. So there are two things around it. What I'll suggest, one is a more long term, and another one is a more tactical solution, I will say. Okay, So let's discuss the tactical part of it first. That will help you to actually think of it and learn very quickly. Like from today itself, you can start rather than the long term part of it. The tactical part is very simple. Since you come from a retail banking domain, like you know what are the different financial instruments which is there in the retail domain, right? A mutual fund or a bond or a debenture
Right, right.
or maybe gold or whatever. You start writing a small simple document, or if you want we can spend 5 minutes in building that document. Like if you tell you just talk of fintech industry in India, one of the most exciting spaces. If you just talk of investment space, okay, forget about long term, forget about that. For what the investment space, that is one domain. It has a bunch of app around it. For example, end money is in like international investment, international equities, right? You tell me, you start telling me, Manas, you have to be unmuted and tell me a lot of things. It's in international equities, right? Then if you talk about then there is equity investment space. If you talk about equity investment space, then there is like Zerodha, then there is Zerodha, there is Dhan, then there is Paytm Money, then there is this Sahi, founded by ex Swiggy's CTO Dale Vaz, equity investment space. Then there is gold investment space. Gold investment space again has I invest in Gullak. Then there are few other apps on the similar lines, Kuber and all those things. Where then there is like crypto is again there. Crypto investment space is there. There are a bunch of apps around that. I have something on this coin DCX or something. So, but that is again a space. It is there. Then fintech also comprises of payments for sure. That is the father of fintech, right? And that fintech revolution started
Exactly.
with payments and all. You payments and UPI. So we have like someone like Bhim over there. What is the earliest player? Then definitely Paytm, who completely revolutionized the space. Then definitely Phone Pay. They have again
Yeah.
revolutionized the space. Definitely Google Pay. Uh, okay, these all players are there. Correct me where I'm going wrong because here's your domain.
No, no, sure, sure,
So
definitely, yeah.
then there is
And
loan.
in fact, like there are some integrations also. Like you talked about gold, so
Uh,
even like in phone pay, you have an option of investing
yeah,
in
yeah,
gold.
exactly.
So
So,
yeah,
no,
those also.
always I'll remark that in asterisks since you should not have that confusion ever. Okay, these apps. The app categories are not mutually exclusive. Okay, they are never mutually exclusive. So,
So no, one thing, just can you please scroll the screen up? The lower
yeah,
part
sure.
is not. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So then there
sure.
is loan discovery like Policy Bazaar, etc., where you can see personal loan, housing loan, or whatever. There is like
Yeah,
Policy Bazaar, and number of platforms are around that. This is just a very then there is a wealth management space. If you are sure,
yeah,
if you have checked, there is a
right.
wealth management space. It has something like yeah, like I have actually worked with one of my founders who are building something which is in one of my earlier CPOs who has become a founder to build something called Wealth Nest. Even end money falls in this space, right? You have a wealth management angle of
Exactly.
end money where you can have your wife or family members around onboarded on it. You can have your EPF, all the mutual fund, all the bank savings, everything can be aggregated in one space, and you will see your family net worth and all those things. There is a new app called Follow. Try it out. It's
Yeah,
a good one. So a bunch of apps. I think there is something starting with S. Scriptbox. That's a very good mutual fund suggestions and
straight box,
management
right,
app.
right.
Scriptbox is there.
Yes.
So a bunch of things around there are there. Okay. So now then there are pure API players over here, like those who are just the powering there. They are building those APIs. For example, K Fintech and all, or MF Central is there, and all those things are there. Who are just giving the API products. If you want to build a fintech app, you use their APIs and build it on top of it. You get my point, right? If you want to,
Right, right.
if you are building an app and you Manas has built an app and they want to fetch the mutual funds which is done by a Srinath or a Philip or a Saurav, they will have to use the mutual fund MF Central cash APIs. Basis that you will there will be PAN number, OTP validation will be there. Basis that all my mutual fund investment assets will be fetched. But all those investment, my Parag Parikh 5 lakh investment will be fetched. But what is Parag Parikh's latest NAV? That is a different API. Last day NAV API is a different API that is given by some other player.
Right,
There are
right.
platforms like Morningstar. You must have heard about that, right? Morningstar and all those
Yes,
things.
yes.
So they are giving the APIs. They are called live ticker APIs. Like what's the stock price in live? Or NAV mutual fund doesn't trade on a live basis, but they on a last day basis. So Morningstar is there. Bunch of players are there who are giving those APIs of live ticker and all those things. So you see
Yeah,
this.
can we create also in this API players? Create or
Huh,
it's a
I think small case is having this API for sure. Small case is having an API angle to it because we have talked about as working with small case in certain APIs. Then there is this player. Um, um, Small case for sure was there. Small case, we were discussing for some APIs with them, for some negotiations was going on. Small case for some mutual fund import API and all those things. Like they have an API gateway tool where you can get a bunch of API details and all those things. For mutual fund APIs only, I was talking with them and all those things. So there is Taraki, another player, and whatnot. Credit is again in a very interesting space, right? What you told is a new space altogether. That is credit card management. There are like credit card apps and credit card management apps. CC credit card. One second. Dedicated credit. There are dedicated credit card apps there, like for example, Scapia and all. And then there are credit card CC management apps. Okay, which are like Cred, etc. There is a bunch of apps around there. So
Jupyter will come in which category?
yeah, very good, very good. Jupyter will come in a wealth management. So see, this thing will apply over there. From building a revenue model, whosoever asked the question, if they're into pure wealth management, there is no revenue model, right? They cannot upsell or cross sell to you anything. But Jupyter is into giving those personal loans and all those things. Now they have completely stopped their wealth management flow. They are saying only if you take a buy this personal loan from this bank or that bank at this much interest rate. So they will fall somewhere in this category of wealth management as well as loan discovery, because typically they are not NBFCs or banks per se that they can offer you a loan. They typically tie up with some XYZ bank at a specific interest rate. They take a commission out of that. Okay. So see, on a random Saturday evening, Manav, with a random guy, you discovered the breakdown of fintech into 10 things which you day in and day out are using. As a fintech
Correct.
retail guy, 19 years experience, I think, and on top of it, now my Axis Bank has a very poor experience. But having said that, Axis Bank has already built everything, most of the things over here itself. I can make payments, everything on my Axis Bank salary account app, which I have on my phone. So what I'm trying to say is the universe of features or capabilities, they are also building it in-house. If at all you're an ICICI, SDFC, ICA, this guy,
No, I'm using IDFC.
IDFC, or this other one. There is this Mumbai-based other bank, which is also doing.
Equinix or
No, father son duo is there, right? Uh, what is that, man? There's also good bank.
Kotak.
Kotak, yeah,
Kotak.
exactly. Kotak Bank. They all are heavily investing into the tech space and hiring highly paid product managers and all. Even Geo is getting into that. Geo Money and this BlackRock they have acquired and all those things. So from a tactical perspective, no, start installing all the apps, categorize it on your Android or iOS phone. You check the flow and check like if at all someone is fetching the mutual fund, which API they are calling, because this is a highly regulated environment. What I've understood while building this wealth nest with my founder, with my previous CPO, he has moved completely into building this thing, and he has asked me as a consultant to join with him. So there's a lot of APIs available, but highly regulated space. So you will, if at all you go through the flow, you will realize, okay, they are calling this API from this vendor. So this is an API vendor. You go to their website, check, okay, these are the different things. You go through the flow. There would be some failures. There would be some downtimes. Is the EPF really getting fetched? If you go to the real EPFO portal, there would be, you will see there are all those things. I built the EPF integration on this wealth nest. This is a pre-seeded app. You won't even know the name of it. This wealth nest thing, what I'm saying. But while doing EPF integration, there are two APIs. One API says it is UN number plus password. Another one says PAN plus OTP. But the failure rate of PAN plus OTP is a normal flow. Everyone remembers their PAN number. You will get an OTP. But the failure rate of that API is very high. So you will have to go with the UN plus password. Who remembers their UN number? But then you have to redirect. What is the user flow we can build so that we can redirect them to the EPF portal so they can fetch the UN number from the PAN number. No one remembers the password of the EPF portal. How do you educate the customer to set it up and remember it and all those things? So go through all the flows. These, at least these apps which we did in the document today, go through the flows. What are the different categories? What are the different use cases they're trying to solve? That is how you feel this gap. No, this question you will not say that I have this gap if you do it for a month. Every day, open your notebook or open a simple Google Doc, just like this, write it that this is the app I am analyzing. Take screenshots of the app, put it over there, and put the app screenshots. This is where this is the onboarding flow, because all the, you'll say, fintech apps will have a one time integration flow. If you onboard yourself on a cred or something, if you integrate your mutual funds and everything, it is integrated. You cannot go through the flow again. So because next time we'll just have an OTP login. So do a screen recording of it, take screenshots of it, do a study, okay, this is what it happens. Then you will start understanding why it happens. Then talk with someone like me or colleagues, okay, this is a very interesting way they are doing it. Why are we doing it? If at all you're in a private bank and not a pure fintech player, we are taking 5 steps. So there can be two things: either they are not following a regulatory circular which has been issued by an SEBI or an RBI, or and you guys are doing it, or you guys are doing it very poorly. As simple as that. So can you remove 2 steps which is additional in your flow and not in their flow? Or if you find a proposition that okay, they are doing it very nicely, they're fetching all the funds, if at all we fetch the funds, we add a lot of value in our app, then you can have those proposals internally driven and all those things. Because I consider you very senior, 19 years is big, very enough, big enough time. So if at all you have those access to those product teams, you can write a sort of a PR FAQ or a proposal, and basis that you can take it forward. So that is how we will complete the gap part of it. And
Okay.
this is a more tactical approach of it. I told you, I'll tell you a more long termish approach. That is more like get into a proper structured curriculum course, try to understand the theory part of it, get into a lot of product breakdowns, build a lot of no like vibe coded apps. Will in a matter of 3 4 months, someone might have a head start, but you will feel you are almost there at the end of it. But you have to be very clear on what is the objective. If you want to really get into product management, yeah, I think the tactical piece of it contributes to you more as compared to a long termish point of it, because that definitely contributes. But if you start doing it and you identify certain flows and certain gaps and lacunas in your platform, informing it and build a product proposal around it, and that gets approved, I think internally you can try to switch, and that will add a lot of value in terms of your career and your aspirations also.
Right, right, right. Yeah, thank
Yeah, thanks, Manas.
you.
Yeah,
Hi, Saurabh.
yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi, Saurabh. This is Varun.
Yeah,
I have a question. Saurabh, I have like around 18 plus years experience as a program manager.
yeah,
Primarily, I'm working on data warehousing projects uh, for a startup right now, and managing multiple projects at the same time. So it's a combination of cloud data warehousing and on-premise data warehousing,
yeah,
along with API management projects like Kong, Gateway, and all those projects. And one team is a DBA stream wherein it's a very traditional DBA. Uh, so it's a combination of multiple projects. There are others as well, small projects. So I want to switch to AI product management. What opportunities do I have? And I was sitting on a package of 40 lakhs, and I'm scaled down to 25 lakhs because I took a gap of around 1 year to start my own business, and that led to this decline. I want to scale up to another, again to 50, 60 lakhs minimum. Uh, so, and I do have a background on working on products like FlexCube, and all these are banking products. And I was also working with Nissan on the automotive products. So, how will this program help me? And this is my first question. And my shall I put the second question also, so that
yeah,
you
yeah,
can
please.
combine the yeah. And my second question is, I've been talking to folks to understand the AI product management stream. So I understood that there are three different tracks. One is AI-led product manager thread. There is another called as AI platform manager, which is again one of the subdivisions of product manager, and then is AI product manager, which is the main. So uh, at Eduinx, which one do we cater to out of these three? Is my question, and which one should I pursue if we do have these classifications in Eduinx?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yes.
Saurabh, this is Vijay. I put some questions in the chat actually. I was trying to ask questions for the last
Yeah.
30 minutes. So, yeah, once you complete this, you can take my question.
Yeah, sure. I'll just put that one. Yeah, sure. Sorry, Vijay, to keep you waiting.
let's keep Saurabh, let's keep up to Avinash as a final question, please.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Which, which, okay. Avinash, one more hand raised. There will be AMS6. Yeah. So let's discuss Varun's career trajectory and try to pick up the goodness of it from like horizontally across everyone who is there. So it's hardly like it's heavily you are into technical, what I could understand. So I'm not a technical folk to clarify you for that technical resource from that perspective. But what you have been doing is essentially the infrastructure part of it of any. So I'll tell you anyone who is there that we can actually understand from a very much functional perspective. For all the aspirants over here, if at all you're into product management, everything will have a front end associated with it. There will be a back end associated with it. The backend from a functional perspective you can think of like a bunch of tables. Okay, bunch of tables around it, and those tables those bunch of tables, what are there, they're essentially databases. And those tables they're actually kept in when I say when Varun used the word in premise or like cloud. Their in premise means, simply if at all you have to think, in premise means in premise actually they have own their own servers, that is their personal cloud. And cloud means they don't own their own servers, that is in the shared space. In the shared space there are few like orgs like AWS, from Amazon, Azure, and few other database providers are there, and also use case based database providers. If at all you want to do elastic search, then there is elastic, there is another company. There are a lot of database providers who are working on top of it. Then now to connect a front end. So when I say when you connect the front end to back end, I'll give you a small example. Let's say I'm over here. When I click on add to cart, so see my cursor. The very moment I click on add to cart, the cart page opens up. This is my cart. So the front end instruction went to the back end that with these details that this guy is residing in 560049, and this is the cost, this is whatever color what I've chosen, what is the final detail. The backend, this is all API calls. I made a front end API call. This led to the API call, the backend, this led to the API call where the cart got generated. It's not necessary that this could actually be stored in the front end itself. Not necessary every time a backend call happens. So a call happened and the cart page got exposed where all the details of it got exposed. If I click on pay now, essentially it will ask me to sign up or something because I have not even signed up. So there is a simple login or something, login flow, so that because they will have to be accountable, right? Who is buying this? They, from a sales perspective, you can say that 2199, the company will say go and buy it, but they will have to associate every order ID against a customer ID. If I don't log in, they don't even know what is my customer ID. And every customer ID needs to be associated with a definitive phone number, name, or whatever, where you'd eventually deliver the thing. So I'm basic like a 2 minute backend front end API interaction basis Varun's background, what he told or he explained that what he does. I just gave you. Okay, let's go back to the document. So he essentially, one second. This is a document. Okay, this is Eduinx. Yeah. So essentially Varun has been the guy who has been building those database management thing, those API management thing, those data warehousing part of it in cloud, like cloud and in-house. He has been doing it across 18 years, a highly experienced guy. Now I think Varun, what will add a lot of value over here is AI is a highly technical domain. Okay, like in the sense like you can get functional PMs who know the feature in terms of what they have seen. Typically bunch of features are designed around competitor research. You have seen some platform doing it in a very specific way, or some APIs are available, and or it's a domain agnostic platform which is building some capability which might be helpful in your CRM domain or in your retail domain, and you take an inspiration from it and then you build the front end around it, and it's a bunch of API calls where typically then there are two ways of building an AI product. One is you have the in-house model where you are owning the ML model, you have built an ML model and optimizing it. And the other is you are taking help of a publicly available LLM, like a chat GPT. You are calling a chat GPT API, or from a call, if at all it's expensive, you are taking it or taking into account or calling an Llama API or some other specific model or a publicly available model. You are calling that API and getting an output. So what happens it for a publicly available model, you can even tweak the parameters of it or the inputs of it. For a like a owned model like a chat GPT or something, you can only tweak certain aspects of it, like the temperature of it or certain aspects of it you can tweak to generate more random or accurate responses, and you can build it. So now I think switching to AI product management from a technical domain for a person like you, it's I think it's a very easy thing. But again, having said that, I feel that you should try for an internal angle within the org. That will be far more easier for you, or else go through a structured program like this, build a product CV, understand what are the different product questions and interview questions that are required, because you will be highly technical in your answers or your opinions by what even now you're saying. So you understand the product management domain and the questions and the interview techniques and all. Prepare a product CV, because it's very easy for you, having 18 years of experience, having worked in fintech and automotive, what you've told, to build product, because you have actually worked on real products with a far more experience. But the business implication side of it, you would be hardly aware. That we can definitely make up. Like, we also don't know what happened in Nissan or what happened in FlexCube, where do what number of what is the actual revenue retention or whatever adoption or acquisition would have happened because of that. We can build a story around it, because lot of things, lot of like, if at all there is a joke around it. Like, my wife was from IIM Lucknow. If at all there is this joke that for an MBA batch, if they totally save the money, because everyone writes those fancy CV that I built this feature and this saved this much revenue, millions of dollars for this company, or this generated this many millions of dollars for this company, or whatever, I built this feature from a top B school. So if you totally add what is the amount that has been saved and what is the amount revenue that is generated, then that will be equivalent to GDP of India. Okay. So you have to be creative in designing that product CV, so that the features have actually worked, and write a logical point that, okay, this is the impact from a product perspective that has been added, and take the help of people who are in the same domain. Will have to build a CV around it and appear externally or internally with your technical acumen. If you appear, then that is a very good possible way for you to get into AI product management. Okay, so I think this answers two of your questions, that how will the AI PM program help, and also, if at all you're switching from a technical domain, I can literally share with you LinkedIn job postings, where for AI product management roles, they are more inclined towards database, data warehousing, or data analytics folks who are transitioning on wanting to become a PM, rather than a normal PM who has learnt product, or who has learnt AI on the fly or on the job. They are more inclined towards having technical folks. So you are at the right time, at the and the comms information. Ideally, you should not have shared that, but just that you have shared it, you are at a very right sort of an APM to PM like a trajectory. Like a good company APM typically earns that, so you'd be in a very right trajectory to easily, in your first switch of a PM role, you can crack that 40 LPA bracket which you were earlier working at. And with the curriculum like this, gives you those things, understand all the nitty gritties of it, and then build a good CV, all the product management interview questions, and your previous experience groomed into a product management sort of aspect of it, and then start appearing for it. Then it will really help. Okay, build few vibe coded apps, post it on LinkedIn, start becoming active on LinkedIn, post about how is the curriculum helping you. Then it will really, you will see the difference in a matter of 5 to 6 months. Okay. Now on the AI PM classification, so there is something like an AI enabled PM. So when I say AI enabled PM, this is more of a question which Vatsalya asked. You are using vibe coding tools to build the prototypes, or you are using Chat GPT to use to write a PRD, or maybe you are using a custom GPT to validate an idea or something, or you are using Hugging Face or all these different tools to understand what is it. That is more like an AI enabled PM. One is more like a AI product, AI actual PM. So for an actual AI PM, enabled PM, everyone is an enabled PM. Nowadays, this is table stakes. Okay, this is table stakes. Like, if at all you are like, you have to know what all are the different tools, and in a quarterly basis, new tools are coming which is completely changing the game. You will have to understand what is text to speech, what is an LLM, what is prompt engineering, what is vibe coding, what is agentic AI. This is table stakes to like, for any PM at any level. Be If at all you are not doing this, if at all you are a CPO, believe me, you would not be in the game in a 2 to 3 years time. If at all you're an APM in some org already placed, but you are doing something else and you are not learning it, you are not table stakes, you will be out in a very, very short span of time for sure. Second is AIPM. These guys are actually building a feature where the product where I'm actually working. For example, when Guru introduced me, I'm working on building a conversation module. So what happens in a conversation module? Typically, it's like like let's take for example Eduinx. Eduinx Guru is having a CRM. Okay. So they are running ads on Instagram, they're running ads on Facebook, they are doing normal outreaches. It means they have a bunch of database of students directory they have deployed someone like a Priya or someone. She's just making calls to hundreds of students that are you interested in a course or something. That is one aspect of it. Or there might be some engagement classes or something, and they can get some leads around it. But eventually, he's managing all the leads and everything on a CRM. It's a singular interface. Whatever inbound inquiries are coming from Instagram, or coming from WhatsApp, or coming from SMS or whatever, it's in one singular interface. That is one inbox, a singular inbox. I am a PM who is building that inbox for a CRM. Okay. Now, as an AI PM, like AI enabled PM, I will say this course will make everyone an AI enabled PM. But who can be an AI PM is very much depending on what interviews you clear, what is the stage of the company, and what is the different products the company is building. And if at all your product has an inclination toward, because it's not necessary every feature will require an AI, right? Every product solve does not require AI. Some product solves requires AI to a large extent, and even then, if it requires AI to a large extent, will it be an in-house model or an external model, which we discussed earlier? That again depends. So now that I'm lucky enough to be in a conversation module of a CRM, that is pure luck. Okay. I built the entire conversation AI flow for high level, which is a $400 million ARR platform. What happens is, let's take again, go back to Guru's example. Guru is having that singular inbox where all those inquiries are coming in from hundreds of students that this looks like a great course. I want to enroll into EduINX 6 months program or whatever. Now Guru is on a break. Guru went for a smoke, or Guru went to the gym and he didn't reply for 2 hours or whatever. Okay. Now what happens is, it's not like there is only one program in the market. There are 5, 6 other programs also running. If you don't, there is a concept called speed to lead. If you're not replying to an inbound inquiry within 15 minutes, that guy is also parallelly researching 5 other platforms. Okay. He might be reached out by some other like a business success guy or a sales guy from other platform, and he might get converted over there. So for a speed to lead, so there's a valid use case to introduce AI over there. So if an inbound lead comes from WhatsApp, immediately a WhatsApp reply will go, if from an AI based reply will go, hey, hi Manas, this is Guru. Lovely interacting with you. It is great. You are interested in an AI product management course. We'll call you within next 15 minutes or next 30 minutes. So now that this reply has gone, they will set up an automation or an N8N workflow, that when this reply goes back or an outbound message goes back, send an automated WhatsApp to Priya, and Priya will call within the next 15 minutes, and she definitely calls within the next 15 minutes. So this is how AI is actually helping us. This is an AI PM who has actually built an AI feature where, like, the first response which I shared from Guru was very templatic. You can literally, what we have built, I can show you when we get into normal classes or something. Like, if a Manas is interacting with Guru, he can actually, Guru, the AI version of Guru, the persona that is created based on the knowledge base, we call it KB, will actually be trained on what all information Guru has, and he can ask what would be the fees of the course, what will be the syllabus of the course, is there any financing option available, what will be the duration of the course, when will the classes happen. There's a typical set of queries which a participant might have. They would be asking Guru. All those things could be trained, and there is for building a conversation AI, there's a system prompt versus tooling architecture model which we follow on built on a specific model. So that can be trained, and they can exactly give you answers that you won't even realize that this is not a normal person I'm talking to. So that is I would say that is something we have built, or something where if you join a company where your product is at the center of like having AI related to it, then you would get into that domain. But that's again very subjective. But if you, considering your background and all, you can actually build your narrative that I want to get into such roles, and you can switch over there. Okay. So that is the second aspect of AI PM. Then there are a bunch of AI infrastructure PMs. Okay. Infrastructure PMs. This is some next level, next level shit, where people are working in LLMs or like companies like Anthropic or ChatGPT or something, and they are training the models. They are building the infrastructure. They are training the models. They are doing the evaluations on the like evaluations you also have to do, because over here the AI persona of Guru, what is it replying? Is it becoming too creative? Like, is it becoming too sales pushy? You want to neutralize it, right? He will say, no, 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 take an admission, blah, 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 like this. It will become very sales pushy. So, do you want to do that? How do you manage the temperature and all those aspects? How do you build that AI persona? I'll show you that entire flow, what we have done on high level, so that you are very clear on building a conversation AI product end to end. So, this is one level of it. But someone who are training the models of a chat GPT, someone who is training the models of a llama, or someone who is doing that, they have some next level context, and they are building those models out there. They are like AI infrastructure PMs, who are a very limited set of people working on those sort of three to four LLMs over there. So those are the three different PMs. What we fundamentally should work on is getting this thing, for sure will be covered in the course itself. How do you get this done and eventually land in this sort of a role should be our aspiration. Yeah, Varun.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Saurav. Thank you. That answers quite a lot. So, typically, with my experience was managing a team already, it's a combination of product and existing warehousing projects. What package can I look forward to for the second category which you just mentioned? For both the categories, in fact, the very AI enabled and the AI PM, with the current salary I just mentioned.
So
What
yeah.
can I look forward?
See, comps as of now, what I have been in the industry and I have seen as of now, there is no fundamental difference in the comps of being an AI PM or a normal PM, to be honest. And it's more of a difference at a level, what level you are operating at. For example, I'll give you certain slabs of level, but if at all just from a socialization perspective, is not like heavily like written on the stone or something. And APM typically makes around across companies, it can be a very mature company to a small company to a startup to whatnot, but I've seen typically from a 12 to 25 on any normal day and a happy day, they will make around 18 to 20 lakhs for sure. So from a 12, I'm talking about just fixed. So and a PM typically starts from around, I have started as a PM from around somewhere around like in a bracket which is in the median of a APM. Okay. 6 7 years back. So what I'll say is typically a PM starts from around 20 odd, and it goes around to till 50s. Okay, if at all you're a senior, like you're having a designation of PM or a PM1 or a PM2, but it can tend up to a 50s. Now if you talk, so there is a overlap over there. It's not like those are all, it is not mutually exclusive. Then there is an SPM. The SPMs can again start from around 28 30s to, again they can go up to 65 to 70. Okay. And now as you go to this region, there can be bunch of variable part of it. Like this is the fixed for sure. Beyond that, there could be variable depending on a company or something, and ESOPs definitely come into picture even till at a PM level also. Now from an SPM to, if you talk of a GPM or a slash AD, you are looking at somewhere around for sure at a 50 to sort of a 1 CR sort of a bracket on a fixed level. So this is the kind of information I can provide. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Saurav. That answers quite a lot on the questions I raised. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, Saurav, in case I want to I have more questions, I see people are waiting. Can we reach out to you, or is there a platform where we can
Yeah.
further post our
Yeah, I
questions
think
and we can get
yeah,
answers?
Guru from Eduinx and Priya from Eduinx will share those details. That's all.
All right. Thank you so much,
Uh,
Saurav. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Saurabh, just a quick thing. I will take only 10 seconds of yours. It's a follow-up question which this gentleman Varun had asked. So, just since I'm also planning to enroll and I have interest, so for this AI PM enabled job opportunities, if I may say, so on a realistic term in today's market, is it like the case that there are companies which specifically are hiring with the point of view that we need AI PM, and say we have four projects running simultaneously, and out of these four products in these modules of each of the product, we want the AI part to be incorporated, so can you come in and then you can do it? Is it that way how the hiring is more lucrative and it happens in today's world, or they just hire from a simple perspective that okay, let's have a PM, who also has AI, and then depending upon our product needs, we can then accordingly do it.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is the
Typically,
realistic trend?
that is what the second point which you told. That is how it happens. It won't happen on a point solution basis that you have a feature to be built, and it never happens like that in product management. And also, it appears as if product management has an end. My father used to say me that you got into this line. अभी तो Flipkart बन गया है, अभी PM का क्या काम है? But there are 200 PMs working at Flipkart, right? They're continuously optimizing the feature. It's not like you have integrated a chat GPT API with a feature and that is doing everything on its own. You will have to optimize the cost. You will have to optimize the responses. There would be new kind of queries that will come in. You will have to keep on optimizing it, building it a better version, take that feature to the next level. So there will be bunch of work that comes very moment you move up to the next level. Okay, bunch of new type of features will come into picture. Okay, once you have built this conversation AI, now we are seeing that we have to introduce conversation AI across scales, not just emails. We have to introduce it for WhatsApp, for Instagram, for Facebook. Now the queries which a guru might be receiving on Instagram, the kind of form factor or the length of the question and the form factor which the way he replies on Instagram cannot be similar to what he does on email. So how do you manage those queries or how do you manage those responses on a conversation AI? To give you an example, now guru receives 5,000 queries in a month basis, let's say, and those 5,000 queries are answered from GPT, let's say 3.5 or a 4.0 model. That's extremely expensive. You will have to spend around like 10,000 rupees just on responses. Guru might feel that he can deploy an entry level employee and he can also respond to this rather than going with a expensive CRM. So we have built a capability where you can select a model, a sort of a open source model where it's not necessary to be ChatGPT. You can have a Llama model also deployed, and you can check the quality of responses, and you can tweak certain parameters to get send the responses back on the same set of knowledge base. So we have built that sort of a bunch of flexibility of model selection also on the conversation AI. So we are building it again and again. Also incrementally, we are building on top of it, and typically now like what all companies are doing, that horizontal layer they are trying to build. What you told secondly, there will be a horizontal, for example, high level. What we have a PM AI product management module. Like those guys are working across the CRM, be it the different contacts, opportunities, conversations, website builder, forms, or whatever. There are like 20, 30 different parallel modules, like absolutely parallel modules. These PMs are horizontally cutting it through the 7, 8 PMs and working across those parallel modules and building AI capabilities on top of it and incrementally improving it.
Got it. Got it.
Okay,
Yeah,
Saurabh, this
thank
is
you so
Vijay.
much.
I put 7 questions. 7 questions have additional questions.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Maybe if you feel anything duplicate, you can avoid it. But yeah, so I'm in IT for 25 years, 21 years in banking, 19 years I lived in Singapore. I got the opportunity to work in product management, delivery management, program management. Um, I, I, I also got the opportunity to work in startups in my earlier career actually. So last 21 years in corporate banking, B2B. So my questions are related to that. And
Yeah.
currently last 5 years, I'm in product management in a Standard Chartered bank. So, regarding the PR FAQ, 5 years back, I got the information that I was part of Product Fox, the cohort
TPA.
actually. So, in that, so the PR FAQ is mainly on before we release the product in the production, we prepare the document which will be press release. So, it will be prepared in advance. So, that is one use case. And in my current bank also, now we are working with Ant Financials. So, we are integrating on a blockchain and tokenized deposit kind of solution. So our bank, our functional cash POs were preparing FAQ. That means press release basically.
Yeah.
So before we release into production, we are trying to prepare it and keep it ready. And once we are really the product is already live in the production, then that will be do the press release. Is my
Yeah.
understanding correct? Or because whatever the example you have given in Amazon or something, that may be a different use case.
No, so TPF, I was also associated back then when you read about it from PRFAQ 5 years back. One of my earlier, so Suhas is one of the founders of TPF.
Yeah,
I'm very much
yeah,
in touch. So I had this interview long back, 5 years back. His wife is showing 4 years and not sure, and one of the most viewed actually,
okay,
7.4K viewed interview experience of how to break into PMing. And what I see, your questions are also highly into how to break into PMing, and also we'll talk about PRFAQ. What you told is slightly, I would say, wrong. Like it's not about PRFAQ is highly forward looking. So, for example, if you want to build a capability and you don't have a buy-in, so see, when I even answered Samita's question, So when maybe I'll show you something like an AOP to help you understand better. One second. We have our AOP going on right now. One second. Uh, this is an annual operating plan. So there would be some features like we are making some strategic bets. Like some features, the strategic bets are also incrementally, like some features are there, we are just incrementally adding a few things. For example, the users are coming onto the platform, but initial setup complexity is very high, so we want to do it. So it's more of an incremental thing. But the thing I am building over here is I am trying to build a Yelp integration or a TikTok integration on the CRM, so that if a guru starts posting on TikTok about this course, he starts getting inbound enquiries and leads from TikTok itself, and within one CRM or one inbox, he can start managing it. Hope I am able to clarify the use case. Since you're very senior, I expect you understood this use case. But I am saying that I want to integrate TikTok on this CRM. This is a completely greenfield project. No, as a customer, few of the customers on our, we have something called as idea board. Like we have something called ideas board on high level, where people tend to say that we want TikTok or something on those lines. They will say that if I write TikTok, they will say TikTok ad reporting, TikTok messages linked to conversation, TikTok ads integration, TikTok, all these things we want as a feature, and there are upvotes. People can vote on top of it if you are interested in that idea. But having said that, the existing users don't have any problems with whatever setup you have, and they are not saying we want TikTok. Some people are saying on the ideas board, but they don't have any problems because the feature is not there. Why there will be a problem? For getting a buy-in on such a project, that I want to build a new capability that adds a lot, that will add a lot of value to the existing users, we have to write a document to get the buy-in, as simple as that. That buy-in document of building a greenfield project is called a PRFAQ. For building an incremental feature, you don't need to work on a PRFAQ. If, for example, on Stancy, assume Stancy has a retail division in India. I don't know because haven't seen anyone saying that I have my bank
It is
account
there.
with
It is
Stancy.
there.
I
Actually,
might be in
plenty
Chennai or
employees
somewhere.
using. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in but not in Odisha or Bangalore or Calcutta where I have been for a long time. Maybe in Bangalore it must be there. I'm not 100% sure. But
Where it is there.
yeah. So let's say Vijay, you as a vice president of Stancy, I'm expecting you might be SVP or something considering your experience. So if at all you say that let's build a wealth management app for Stancy customers, let's build that. Like on your banking app, you just give, what do you give? You give your saving, you have your multiple accounts associated to your banking apps, all the credit debit transactions. That's it, right? Or if at all you have any loan account, savings account, or let's say, or some other financial basic banking financial instruments like an FD, RD, or whatever, that is it. But that guy who is who is there on the app, he might be also be doing hundreds of, like he's having some like a wealth management app to manage his equities, his mutual funds, or his bonds and etc. He's doing on Paytm Money or Zerodha or something. Can we fetch in all those assets and create a net worth sort of a feature? Like build a net worth feature for a Saurabh Mishra who is a retail customer of Stancy. So if at all you want to build such a capabilities, you have to pull in lot of APIs. Those API per API call, it will be 15 rupees. Multiply with millions of users or lakhs of users who are on the Stancy retail platform or retail banking platform as of now. So that requires crores of investment. You'll have an engineering team and everyone set up. How will you as a VP of Stancy get that buy-in from your SVPs or whatever, or your country leaders? You will have to write a PR FAQ saying that what is the value proposition, like not just about what feature you want to build. Anyone at your domain will absolutely understand what you are trying to build, but what does it hold for Stancy? What is the input metric? If you build such a thing, in how much time do you think, if there are 1 lakh retail banking app users who are like DAO, 1 lakh is your DAO, on a daily active users is 1 lakh, how many of them will be like 30% of that DAO will be attracted towards your wealth management platform on the same surface? What, that is just the adoption. What is the revenue? Since you're investing crores of rupees on this project for building those APIs, engineering, getting sitting, making them sit in an office, the database part of it and the front end part of it, everything will be deployed, right? From the designers to the front end developers to the back end developers to the database guys to API guys, everyone have to be deployed. The product management, you cannot do the entire piece. You will have a product management team and everything. How do you justify the investment will it be revenue tied or not a revenue tied? There could be a lot of features that could be built without a revenue venture or revenue initiative, just a feel good initiative that yes, Stancy gives you that exclusive banking experience and hence we are building it. Is that the objective? Or there's a revenue objective that you would want to, let's say, upsell loans, or let's say upsell, you want to be a mutual fund distributor sort of a thing, and you want to upsell regular mutual funds, not direct mutual funds from there, and you take a cut out of that, and that is where the revenue model is building. So that is, if you have such an idea and you're proposing it to your leadership, I gave you an example in your context to help you understand, then you have to write a PR FAQ. Why would you think a marketplace aggregator platform like Amazon will get into cloud? Why did they get into AWS? Why did they get into an eco device? Why did they get into something like Alexa? Such diversified, and you see that diversity only in Amazon, right? Only because of this one product or this construct of PRFAQ, where they allow their PMs or the product managers to think very divergently and come across such ideas and write a solid concrete document. Approval of a single PRFAQ is like approval of a business line altogether. Like altogether, and that is what it won't be like the subscribe save button which I told. It's a very simple PR FAQ, not very complex. That is very obvious, that might come from the category team to the PM. Amazon have actually literally PMs who have given PR FAQs, and they have got sanctions for random stuff. Like Amazon has a music vertical. They have a music streaming app. Why? What is the need of a this guy to have this? They have a Amazon like a Prime alternative, right? Like a TV or Netflix alternative, because they have found solid business objectives, solid questions being answered in that document. That is that question of it. I think we discussed that in detail.
Saro, actually, in each and every organization, the terminology may be different. Basically,
Yeah.
innovative suggestions, there's a template in even Standard Chartered, we have a template. So
Yeah.
where we need to do our study, and with market research, we need to go and propose and what is
Exactly.
the revenue, and then approval needs to happen.
Yeah.
And we do receive requirements from markets, actually,
Yeah.
Gulf, with the different partners. And so how we get that requirements, we have a sales team actually. Then it comes once the deal review happens, and everybody feel like that is competitive and we need to do that, we will do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is what every organization might have a structure of allowing people to be creative and all. It's just that how strong is that fabric of creativity in that organization, kind of degree of freedom that is given to employee in that organization to build, to approve such a greenfield project. That's obvious, right? We all know, like someone like a traditional bank or someone, the fintechs would not have existed if the Indian PSUs or the ICICI SDFCs would have originated or have taken that next level of leap of faith on the Jam Trinity or the Aadhaar, and they would have built the Phone Pays or the Google Pays of the world. So that is what. On the next question, that is why I opened my LinkedIn and started scrolling it, because I wanted to answer your next question, because I felt my document would be the best help over here. So this is one document I had created. So it was like highly appreciated, 478 likes and all, and even the views were very high. And it's not like some random document. It's exactly what you're trying to say. So type of questions which can come in a product interview is product design. Okay. When you say product design, which is one of your questions also, is can be again broken down into 2 to 3. See, I have also evolved with the passage of time. It's not like a static document. I might not have written it on a piece of paper, but my thought process have also evolved with a 5 years time or a 4 years old post, right? So typically what I've seen is product design could be a simple product question that might come. For that matter, it's like in my Ola's R1 way back in 4 or 5 years, they asked me design a food ecosystem. This was my Ola question: design a food ecosystem. Ola PM round one. Okay, so there is a definitive model of building this product design questions. Absolutely no time today to get into that direction. So, but there is a absolute model called circles. I'll just give the name, Google it out, you will find so much details on it, but we will take a dedicated session on it if Eduinx wants or something.
Something similar to RISE, correct? Like
No, RISE is a prioritization model.
Okay.
Circles is more like an ideation model. If at all, because this is a normal product, food ecosystem. They might, in Monster last round, the vice president product asked me design a digital mirror. Someone can ask you design. So there are two categories. One is a normal product. Second category of question could be a normal product for a new cohort or an exclusive cohort. Design Uber for blind. It's Uber is there for everyone. Like design Uber for blind. What would be? This is a new cohort. Design standard chartered retail banking app for senior citizens.
Okay.
Design a banking app for senior citizens. So this is banking app is common, but how do you design it for senior citizens? What are the senior you have defined the cohort. So circles goes like this. I'm just giving you circles, but we really don't have time. C is clarification question. You have to ask him clarification questions. When you say standard Stancy retail banking app for senior citizens, what is the need of having a secondary app? It can be very business specific or whatever that comes at your maturity level. Because if at all you're appearing at your experience or you're hiring someone, then you will have to think that I'm thinking your questions are more from hiring people perspective. So you will have to think that if someone is asking a question at that level, if you're hiring an SPM, what is the kind of questions they are asking? Are they mature enough that to reflect a 50 LPA compensation, or they are childish enough, or what is it? So why is a secondary app required? What are those pressing needs of senior citizens that is not catered in the earlier app? Something on those lines. Okay, is the market big enough? In India, we are hardly a very not a very popular retail bank. We have hardly 2 lakh customers. Do we have the data that supports that we have a bunch of those customers who are in the senior citizen category that we need to deploy, need to build a dedicated app for them? You get my point?
Yep.
If at all there's a catchment area or a big enough catchment area, then only you will deploy something or build something, invest your resources, right? Not like ki chalo bhai bana dete hain ek app. That is not the use case, right? So those are these are the categories of product design questions which you asked in your query. It can be a absolutely new product. Sorry, absolutely existing product. Like I was asked in Ola, design a food ecosystem. I was asked in Sixt, it's a German mobility company, design a bicycle management company. They have asked me this question. So when you say bicycle management question, it can be around the business model also. For a food ecosystem also, it can be around business model, or it can be just a simple question around TAM, SAM, and SOM. There is already a Swiggy and a Zomato. What on earth will you solve in India by building a third food ecosystem?
Yep.
So is it the aggregator model you are trying to build, or is it like you are doing something special? Like for example, it can be a very small app which or a small feature which can be on a MyGate or a community management service where people are cooking something on the weekends or something. In my society in Bangalore, what I weekends, a lot of people are cooking idli dosa or something, and then they are selling it also. So
Okay.
can they list it on my app? Do you want to build a feature on my app that B202 has cooked 50 idlis and inventory management is there, and someone from C202 can order and then make a payment over there? Do you want that food ecosystem, or you want to build a full scale food ecosystem like a Swiggy and a Zomato? That has to be covered in the C of the circles, clarification question. Then
Okay.
there is I. I is identification of segment. You will have to identify what all segments are there. What is the supply persona? What is the demand persona? Is it a platform game? There is no supply demand, directly a SaaS platform. What is that? What are those persona? If at all it's a demand persona, what are the sub personas of a demand? If at all you're talking about a aggregator marketplace, there is a supply side, let's say an Uber. There are drivers on the supply side. Then there is we, like you and me, who are on the demand side. But then there are a bunch of different use cases on the demand side. For a Vijay Kumar who is in his 45 or 50, your use case of Ola might be very different. You might want Ola on a very off day where you are feeling sick, you don't want to drive. My case would be I want to go to Chikkaballarpura for visiting the Adi Yogi thing in Bangalore, 40 kilometers. I want to have a outstation. Some people might go to have a long weekend. They want to go to Mysore. They can book it for three. My mother 3 days. My mother wants to come for eye operation to Chennai. We want to keep it for to Sankar Netralaya for 6 hours. That rental thing or whatever. That can be demand persona can be broken down into multiple use cases again. Yeah, Vipin, if at all you can, your camera is on. If at all you're uncomfortable, you can switch off the camera. So, so then there is different use cases that you will have to identify in the circles model, which we'll discuss in detail. It should be in the back of your mind for every PM. It's bread and butter. It's like table stakes. So there are a bunch of questions around that.
And
Spotify
basically,
for
it's like how we can prepare. Like we need to gradually
yeah, no,
develop
I'll
that
get there. I'll
knowledge,
get there.
right?
So all the categories, let's go. Second category, I'll at least discuss the category, not if at all. Let's take 7 more minutes and wrap up the class. Matrix related is the second category. This we discussed, right? There are the three subcategories. One is pure existing product they might ask, like a food ecosystem or a bicycle management company. In the clarification question, you will have to drill them down, deep dive, and understand what is the specific use case, and then go into identify, then put circles, identify the segment. From those segments you have to identify the problems, and then R is requirements, and then from that R, if you have a bunch of requirements, then next C is cut through prioritization. You have to prioritize. L is After prioritization from 10 features to 5 features, what are those? E is evaluate the matrix. For those 5 features, what are those matrices? You should identify. This gives a very holistic answer, a very demanding answer to an interviewer that, okay, this guy knows in and out.
It's almost
Next,
relate to the tear down kind of thing, correct? In the tear down also, we do the same.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Next is normal app. Second is normal app for a new category. Normal use case for a new category like Uber for blind or whatever. Third is thought experiment. Thought experiment is design a digital mirror. There is no digital mirror. Design a pen for an astronaut. We will literally never build a pen for an astronaut in our working duration till 60 years, right? But that's a thought experiment question. Okay. Now, second bucket of questions is matrix related. There can be RCA questions over here. Flipkart's cart abandonment rate has gone up. RCA. Number of high ticket transactions on Google Pay has gone down. RCA. Average viewing time on YouTube has gone down. RCA. Typically, you will see such questions. To answer these questions, again, there's a framework. There's an internal to external framework. Like in internal, there is a bunch of things you need to check. There is a checklist of items you need to check. What went wrong, what could have gone wrong internally.
Yep.
First of all, for an RCA question, the first and foremost thing is we will have to question the questioner. You will have to understand when you say Flipkart's cart abandonment rate has gone up, what is that value? How many people are actually abandoning it? Like, is it like 15%, 20%? If it has gone up, what is that period in which it has gone up? It has gone up in the last 5 months, 6 months, or it's just in the last week you saw that it has abandonment rate has gone up. Then you will have to ask for a few questions internally, whether any key deployment has happened in the last few weeks when this was experienced. Is it affecting is it affecting a specific to a surface? Is it affecting just on the web or on the app? Is it affecting to a specific category, or is it affecting across? There can be a bunch of internal questions you will have to ask the interviewer, or you have to think it
Narrow
through.
down the
And then eventually again extrapolate that to externalities. Is it like Amazon had an Amazon Big Billion Day, or sorry, Amazon Great Indian Sale, and that has impacted it? Or maybe some regulatory constraint around certain products which you had, or maybe some offer engine is not working well or something. So there's a complete pipeline of way you handle it, and this is something some asked to me in certain questions or certain interviews, which I've also jotted it down. Then there is a second category of matrix related questions, that is success matrix. You can just be asked in, for example, in this company I was asked, define success for WhatsApp. It's very generic, right? WhatsApp has hundreds of different use cases. It can be when you say WhatsApp, we'll have to ask, when you say WhatsApp is operating across 180 countries or 150 countries, which specific geography you want me to consider? Which specific age group you want, which specific category of a segment of customers you'd want to consider and define success? Because a success for a college going kid on WhatsApp and a success for you, a success for me, success for Guru who is using WhatsApp business might be very different. Because we are using WhatsApp, you like personal. He's using WhatsApp business for running the business, getting the inquiries and everything. What is the use case? Where are you trying to define success? Are you you want to define success in acquisition, adoption, engagement, or retention? Where is it? Because I think acquisition, there is no point in defining success for WhatsApp. There is no platform which has acquired more customers than WhatsApp in the history of software product management. So is it, and also for retention perspective, I've literally never seen someone saying that I've uninstalled WhatsApp. I was just using it, and because this is so sticky and it is so indispensable, all of a sudden no one cannot say that I'm not using WhatsApp. Your wife will ping you, your babies will ping you, everyone will ping you, your office manager will ping you. It is absolutely indispensable that even if you want, you cannot go out of that loop.
Yeah, WhatsApp was a very good solution, especially when I was in Singapore. Like communicating ways, we have to use cards and international calls, correct? So WhatsApp was a very good solution. And there's
Yeah.
one more company came up, but it didn't.
Yeah, a lot
Even
of hype.
Telegram
Yeah,
also didn't reach that
Telegram in
level.
Indian grown, like this Bharti Mittal's son had Hike that also literally closed a few like months ago, right? Hike Indian solutions didn't work. I think China did a good work in terms of restricting global platforms, and
WeChat, yeah.
they have their WeChat line and all those things that is working well. That's it. So, but then you will have to identify. But since it is asked in a context of an interview, you will have to ask them what is that you're trying to solve. Then let's say engagement. If the guys, because this is, I'm just reproducing the interview in the top of my mind, what I could remember from 1.5 years. We told engagement, let's solve for engagement. We both mutually, it's a mutual discussion. We told let's solve for engagement. If we told engagement, we want to improve the what are the success metric, then you will say engagement for what? What is the definition of engagement? Like a Vijay, because a DAO could be across multiple use cases. Engagement in terms of sending a message. That is like WhatsApp underscore message created. That might be the event. So that engagement on WhatsApp could be in India, that could be 90%. By 90%, what do you mean? For out of 100 folks who have WhatsApp installed, 90% of those users are sending an outbound message. When you say WhatsApp message created, whether it is just outbound or inbound, I think it's a 95% in outbound plus inbound. So it's 90% in or 70, 80% in outbound. There can be days you're not doing any outbound, you are just receiving inbounds and all. That can be engagement. Engagement can be you just saw the message. And engagement can be you posted a status. Let's say, then we discuss, I give them certain examples of what can be engagement. Then he told, let's say talking of posted a status. That's a feature where you want to talk of. Now again, posting a status, if at all you're talking of a feature, that can have a supply side angle and a demand side angle. Vijay Kumar can post a status, that is again engagement. Vijay Kumar can consume a status, view a status, that is again engagement, that is the demand side of it. So what do you want over there? And then I questioned him that what should we consider? Then he told posting a status. Then how do we, then for that, what is the input metric, output metric eventually? So it's a very structured discussion we had. And so any new guy can go and say 3-4 matrices and come back. He say, oh, I told everything. And the interview will wrap up in 10 minutes. Whereas we'll do the same thing for 50 minutes and come back. So he might be very confident, but we might still be confused because we are experienced folks and doing it again and again. So that is where the difference comes in, to have a structured thinking in place in a product management logic. So these are a bunch of questions that comes over here, Vijay. Okay. Then there is product strategies, another bucket. In terms of it'll be more like, will Netflix get into gaming? You will see those very lateral launches, right? Netflix getting into gaming, Amazon is the best example, getting into hardware, getting into software, and number of things. Well, should Google get into OTT space or whatnot? So there is again a framework to handle these sort of questions. Then there is another bucket, is product improvement. One favorite question over here is favorite product. They will typically ask you, I've been asked in a lot of questions, what is your favorite product? What is the scope of improvement in it? How do you improve it? And all those things. Or that is one bunch of questions, scope of improvement, or they themselves will tell you a generic product and tell you to improve it. Let's say Facebook's birthday feature. How do you improve it? For that matter, I'll give you a question. LinkedIn's save as draft feature. You can save a document. There's a feature, right? You can see a post and you can save it. In my case, what happens on a daily basis, I save 6 to 7 posts, but I really never go back to that save post real estate to view them again. So how do you improve when I say improve LinkedIn saved posts, you will have to deep dive to me, get the context from me that what do you want to improve. So eventually when you get into 5 level of questioning, you will understand you want to improve the engagement of the user on the LinkedIn save post real estate. And how do you, what capabilities can you build? Can you build a notification engine that after some X number of posts that is being saved and you have not touched it, like on Gmail it happens, right? You have not replied to it in 2 days. You see that notification from Gmail, right, on those messages. Should we send an email to the customer saying that you have more than 20 posts saved, but you haven't viewed it back? Or basis the consumption, if at all you have saved a notes or a long post, which would typically they can build a sort of internal logic saying this much length of post will typically take 5 minutes or 6 minutes to read. You have not spent that much time in the saved post, do read it. That's a very important post. Or maybe something on a notification basis the volume of likes or comments that post. I might have just saved it thinking I'll read it later. But now that post has gone viral at more than 500, 600 likes. That means that post is getting a lot of validation from other folks also. So can we create a notification logic around that? Or is notification the only solve? Again, if notification is the solve, do you want cross-platform notification or in-platform notification? What do you mean by in-platform? I go onto the app, I see it on the bell icon, or I get a push notification. I have the app installed, I get a push notification. Or across platform is, do you want to send me a notification on my Gmail? That is again another use case. So they can give you a generic product and can ask you for the scope of improvement on it. There's a bunch of things. Then there is your favorite question, guesstimate, which you are trying to ask. I came to it late because that is how the document was designed. So the guesstimate question is like, there has to be a master sheet around it. I think that's a bare minimum. You should know what is India's population, what is the metro city population, what is the HIG, MIG, LIG distribution in it. You should know how much in India is rich, poor. You should have nutritional data, some basic nutritional data about Indian population. So you should be very well aware of certain fundamentals of India as a context or even globally. Like if at all you talk of an America, what is the size, how much it is bigger than what? If at all I talk of a Bangalore, what is the typical population of a Bangalore compared to a tier 2 city like a Bhubaneswar where I come from? So basis that only, like a very popular Google interview question. Google is hiring like left, right, center in Bangalore now. Very popular guesstimate question which is popular is how much time typically a Bangalore IT person is wasting in commuting to office. Okay,
Yeah.
so for that you will have to understand that what is a typical Bangalore population. From there, what is IT population? How many own cars? What are the typical roads? Like from there only, like you can come to that. So master seat knowledge is very important for building a guesstimate, and also no one is checking the value. That I think with your level of maturity you would be knowing very well. No one gives an F to what is the value you are arriving at. They're more bothered about are you able to structurally break it down and taking into multiple aspects into consideration. And to structurally break it down, you need to solve a lot of questions, and then have that master sheet ready so that you are not absolutely like diagonally somewhere else. And it has to be very much dependent on the communication quality also. You have to be involved, you have to involve the interviewer, ask him hints, and take him into confidence if you're taking an assumption, and make that, prove that point. Okay, I'm taking this into assumption, or I've broken down into 7 points now. If you want further, I can even break it down to 5 points, that he should be in a position at some point. Okay, I get it, you are going in the right direction, let's wrap it up. That should be the answer in a guesstimate question.
Yeah, that's correct. Thanks.
Yeah. Then there are technical design questions. This can be around tech stack, system design, technical, like how do you build an OTT system? Like what is a pub sub model? What is a how does a client server interaction happens? And then there is a technical question, and one big behavioral question is there is a framework called STAR. This is again very popular in the EM round. They will say that what is the time when you had a conflict with the engineering manager while you're trying to build a feature? How did you handle those conflict? How did you prioritize when you had a bunch of features? How do you prioritize it? So when you had a conflict with the business, and a typical learning when you build a product and the product matrix might not go in the right direction what you expected, how did you manage that situation? So something on those lines are behavioral questions. Okay. And then I've also jotted down certain steps to approach the questions, the circles framework, matrix related question, and all those things. I've jotted it down over here. I'll share this document with the Eduinx team, and they can take it up from there.
Okay. And Saurav, I'm also exploring this lovable kind of tools, correct?
Yeah.
Is there any possibility, like, see, I want to build a event management system. I'm just taking one hypothetical scenario with the payments. So is that possible to achieve? And one more thing, how to customize, for example, fixing bugs and all. Like, see, lovable is generating and giving. When I start using it, I'm facing issue. I'm asking lovable to fix it also, but still, it is totally within our.
Yeah,
not in
that's
our
the problem.
control.
That's the problem with vibe coding apps. You don't have that absolute degree of freedom. Like if you have gone in one direction, it is rather suggested to build another another like altogether start it fresh, because if it has gone in one direction, it is very difficult to bring it back. It's like that. What do you say? That child who doesn't listen to you, something on those direction
Yeah.
it goes. But again, so for that only a structured program like this is very important, where the prompt which you are giving to Lovable, what we have understood in taking these classes and doing it on our own, rather than giving the prompt directly. So there could be like, there is called a chain of thought prompting. There's a technique. So rather than giving a full scale project prompt directly, give it incrementally. So build a small, so let's say that you want to build a feature where people are giving their PAN card details. From there, you are fetching their CIBIL score, and then you are creating a list view of the different banks where he is eligible to give a personal loan. Let's say this is the feature, and the first is a login screen where you do a phone number OTP verification. Second is you have a PAN number entry screen. You give a PAN number. From the PAN number, the CIBIL is being fetched. Let's say from CIBIL or CRIF or whatever is that creating a rating agency. From there, the list of banks gets populated who can give you a personal loan at XYZ rate of interest. Okay, this is the flow you're trying to build. You're also integrating the CIBIL APIs or whatever the fetching APIs. So normally, typically what you do is you write all the user stories and give it to Lovable in one shot. But what I would suggest, basis my experience, is build it page by page. that will give you more confidence. And also, the if at all you make some error, that is called chain of thought prompting. You build it, and also the prompts which you write it first on a GPT sort of a 4 model, groom it, make it lovable, compatible, break it down into multiple chunks, and get one after one step, page by page build it, rather than building the entire piece, because over there it will go in some other direction. It will be very difficult to bring it back. So that is what a structured program like this is there to guide you through, because I don't know how much are being promised. Like typically we build around 10 apps within the class, and also integrating payments and different use cases, different APIs. So 10 odd apps within a class itself, and give more than 10, 15 apps as homework, build it and come back. By homework, I don't mean a homework for a corporate guy, but it's like do it yourself sort of an assignment, and come back with it, so that we can just take the flow and give it to the class as an example. And as much as possible, make small apps which have real utility in the real world, build something on those lines, and that is what we're trying to do. um, that's around that lovable question, I think.
Saurav, on alternative features, find out, correct? What the problem is, for example, Zomato or Swiggy, there are some feature which is already there. Like, but I
Yeah,
want to find something totally new. For example, phone pay have it, uh, GPay don't have it.
yeah.
Like, I'm just giving example. How to find out actually, like just to an understanding or learning.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, that's purely market research. That even I suggested someone from the banking industry, right? Who, sorry, let me take the name. Give me a sec. Uh, Manas, in Manas' question also I informed, right? You will have to go through a lot of apps, and it's a very iterative and learning process. Like you're very senior, but what I'm trying to say is, in the process of exploring different apps, only you'll start learning so many things. You'll pick up so many jargons. You'll become a mature guy in a period of like those who are aspiring and all. So that's only there, and also you can take the nowadays you can take a lot of help of ChatGPT, right? You can, for those missing features. Earlier it was a lot of thing. You can actually ask, tell me those missing features. You can say two apps, and then you can say what you can even ask the
I
builder
tried, I
that.
tried. I'm not getting that actually. That's the reason I asked. I tried that as well.
Yeah, yeah. So
There are
try to.
some features are overlapping. For example, if somebody is in 1 to 7 scale, some other product is in 1 to 2 scale, but I'm
Yeah.
not able to find the 0 scale of that particular feature in some product. So
Yeah, you won't find, because they're very popular platforms, right? They have long big teams, 100 odd PMs are working for them. They would be having a very scaled ecosystem already there.
yeah. So because I got a assignment like alternative feature, which is like totally new, which is not there in any other platform. So I was struggling to find that actually.
No, it should not be about finding a new feature which is absolutely not there. It should be about a latent customer need which is there, or would be there from that segment of customers who are on there on the platform. What could be a parallel need which those customers have. It should be rather think from a category building perspective rather than a feature building perspective. If you look into PhonePe, they are doing that. They have bunch of customers doing transaction on PhonePe. They literally got built a new category. New category. They built a new app called Pin Code, which is into like a sort of a e-commerce sort of a platform. Now they have realized that okay, these are the transacting users, good enough in fintech. Like they have all the banks, UPI, everything is sorted out. Let's have a mutual fund investment, bill payments, all these categories also included over here, so that they could have the notification, everything logged in, all those things, electricity, code, everything logged in, and every month on month will have a notification. They could make a transaction from here. So from a category building perspective, think on those lines. Maybe if at all you are on a fintech thing, let's think of wealth management. What could be done more on wealth management? Let's say international equities. These guys are there, they are spending on mutual funds or something. Can you tell them, or they are, or let's say you build a simple mutual fund analyzer on PhonePe, which is not there, which is there on Scriptbox, let's say. Like you are seeing that. For me personally, I'm not very much invest. Like I invest whatever I invest, I don't do it. With a firm, I'm doing it. So they're like regular mutual funds. They take a cut on that. So can PhonePe show me like on Ind Money or Deserve This show that these much you are doing via regular? In a 25 years horizon, you might be paying 1 crore more to the agents rather than you. We can manage these on behalf of you, and they give a, there is an API where you can convert the direct regular into direct in one click. You can see that experience on Scriptbox and IndMoney, where all the regular mutual funds you can make it direct. Do they want to build such a flow? What would be the adoption of it? You can, it's not just about building it, right? It's easily buildable because the APIs are already available. This can be a feature. So there can be n number of features that are absolutely not there on one specific use case of PhonePe, which might be there in a different category of app. but the user need or the user segment is very similar to that who is using PhonePe to that category of app. You can think on that direction.
And Saurav, I'm in B2B product management. Like if I want to move to B2C product management, what skills I need to
But
improve?
why? I would fundamentally, I was in B2C, I got into B2B. So, but why you should think twice? B2B is much better, I
No, no,
feel.
see,
B2C is a lot of fire already.
instead of just looking only in B2B, like we can expand our scope, correct? Like, and
Yeah, B2B, it's growing like anything, and so many foreign options are coming. Like this high level, you might not have heard about them. 500 million ARR company, US based, going for IPO, giving fully remote. I'm also fully remote in so many companies like this CRM SaaS companies who are based out of US, they're coming to India. On top of that, a lot of these GCCs are coming to India, global capability centers. So I think that's a very good option to be explored rather than going into Indian B2Cs, which are always lot of hustle bustle, unnecessary like layoffs and all those things. Revenue pipelines are not well defined, purely depending on funding and all. So I
okay,
think at your thing, you should consider that and to take that into account.
okay. And see, in the AI PM, there are three baskets. Like AI enabled PM, as you mentioned, everybody is should be
Yeah.
actually, and we are started using it. So the another PM is like really working on model. That is core PMs, correct? In between,
Yeah.
there are PMs who is as you what we are doing, correct? Like the application you are using AI.
Yeah,
So
we're
I
we
believe
are
that is
building,
the
we're
middle
leveraging
basket.
certain
Yes.
models, building features on top of it.
So how to gain knowledge to reach to that kind of roles actually? So can you throw some light on that? Um,
I think these courses are more than sufficient. Like when this transition happened, it was just that we were at the right time at the right moment in the product management domain. It's not like you guys will be far more experienced and knowledgeable than us at your age level. At your EA, you are investing on a weekend 2 hours. You have sat continuously with the video on, taking notes, and you do vibe coding and all. That is more than sufficient, Vijay. I feel nothing more than that. The concern which you I see, it's more than sufficient. I think just that effort is required to complete the curriculum and switch or whatever. I don't think you need a switch. You'd be happy in your career. Just be AI enabled and try to train your juniors or peers or contemporaries on that. That will make the punch will punch more above your weight. I think will be more than sufficient. Hello. Yeah. Am I there?
sure. Sir, one last question. So
Thank you
is that
so
very
much.
useful to do that?
No, my request is whatever the other questions, you can just send an email to me or Priya. So we will forward the same to Mr. Saurav actually. Sorry, Saurav, it's been like I
Yeah.
know it's extended a lot.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for your thoughts actually.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Loved interacting with the participants. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And
For
and
Thanks for arranging. And Saurav, I want to say that it's a really great session. Actually, I've attended many sessions. It is totally informative from the beginning to the end, and
thank you.
it is like a lot of insights actually.
yeah.
So it was totally. You can see that how many members are there. It's still, I believe, most of the members are still continuing because it's more interesting and useful for the career.
Yeah.
Thanks for your.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
On,
Thanks.
on
Thanks.
behalf of Eduinx and all our students, thank you once again, Mr. Saurav, for an engaging and valuable AMI session. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Bye. Happy weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy weekend, guys.
Thank you, Saurav.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, team.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Guru.